Morning, Boo.
Good morning.
Morning, everybody. Chad, Adler Farms. It's gonna be a good day. Gonna be a good day, especially when you're greeted by this one. Bruce, what you doing, brother? You want some cubes? We'll see Ray here after a little bit. Oh, she's coming back. She's got to run to work for a little bit. And then she'll be back. And we have an announcement that you guys have been waiting on for a very long time. But look, I mowed. Yeah, buddy. Put 11 hours on it yesterday. This is a 5-acre pasture. Redid some of that, and I did jump into that real heavy, nasty, rocky stuff over there. But man, I got to do it in small doses, small patches. It is really rocky, and I don't want to tear up my equipment. One of y'all mentioned that they make blades for these rotary cutters or bush cutters, whatever you want to call them, that are chains. And then of course the chains, you can go through the rocky areas a lot safer because the chains hit the rocks, they don't break, or at least they don't snap your blades and break your PTO. But yeah, after we found out that this hay wasn't any good, or it wasn't gonna produce enough hay, I was like, we're mowing it now, because the cows actually prefer it shorter, so I like it. This cow never misses a meal though. Never, ever, ever. So you know what's interesting? I can't get too close because he'll run because I haven't fed him yet. His horns, his right one and his left one, they grow out, curl in, and they curl into his head, but it's not actually into his head. They curl into the horn itself and then they fall off. And they do it about every 90 days. So he's literally trimming his own horns. The oddest duck on the pond. Did he just jump up there? He sure did. Get down. Okay. All right. Isn't that gorgeous? Well, in case you couldn't tell, somebody is missing. And I'm not gonna like drag it out or make you guys wait or anything, but Lady A, our alpaca, here's a picture from about a year ago when we first got her, a little over a year ago. But she was older. Saturday we got home from the auction, and even though it was rather a warm day, it was certainly not the warmest by far. And she was just very lethargic, just barely moving to the point where an animal that we could barely we could barely pet. She wasn't like, you know, we weren't trying to like cuddle her or anything like that, but I was able to put fly spray on a paper towel and walk up and wipe her face. She was so lethargic and laid back and just barely moving. And that went on for a couple of days. And yesterday, actually, she finally laid down, and I was with her. She was not alone. She was not in pain. We looked up what alpacas do when they die. Keep in mind, she was, and we know this for sure, I believe she was 17 years old. And when I say we know this for sure, she had registered papers. When her and Tina came to the farm, they were older. So we knew they would just live out their days here, but we were told it was like 20 to 25 years. But of course, they're just like people. You know, they can get ailments or illness, or they can just pass away early. But yesterday she was way down by the cabin and she laid down, and she was kind of in the sun. So I got her up like I had been for a couple of days, and, you know, put my hands underneath her and picked her up off the ground and got her to walk around a little bit. And she went and laid underneath the mimosa tree, and that's where she passed peacefully. She just went to sleep and didn't wake up. There was never labored breathing. There was no flinching or twitching like there was some kind of ailment. There was nothing. She just passed away. And you know, if an animal's going to go, that's the way to go, right? So we are less one on the farm. It's a sad day, but you know, whatever may have been ailing her, we didn't know. As far as like, you know, could there have been something internally? Sure. But I personally, so there's a difference in, and I'm not a vet, but there is a difference in a heat stroke and an animal suffering like, what is it, a TIA, an actual stroke. She showed no signs of a heat stroke. We got her to eat and drink for a couple of days, and then she just didn't anymore. A heat stroke, she would have been very like drawn up. Is emaciated the right word? But there was none of that. She was still very full figured, full faced, no shakes. You know, she wasn't chilling. She wasn't trying to get in the pond. She wasn't, you know, pressing us for water. I think she may have had a stroke, though. I'm not so sure she could see the last few hours. So I'm thinking maybe she had a stroke. And, you know, just maybe something inside of her, whatever that stroke caused, didn't come back to normal and wasn't going to allow her to have the quality of life that she was supposed to have. So she passed away, and now she is in no pain. And Adler was here, Carter was here, Case was here. They were all very aware. Not that the other two can't deal with it, but Adler's been around this since day one, and he wanted to see her, so he did. And we buried her back there by Fred. So if you didn't know, this is west on our farm. That's our west fence line. And I like putting our animals that pass away towards the west, kind of like riding off into the sunset. So that's where I buried her. And now when we sit on our back porch, whatever that looks like, right now it's a 10 by 12 deck, but whatever that looks like for years to come, we will know that Lady A and, you know, Fred are together out there. And yeah, it was an interesting day. But you guys, you're gonna ask, you know how Adler is though, man. We talked about how if she wasn't feeling good, now she is. And then of course Adler is our resident bone hunter. He loves collecting bones. And he asked if I thought Fred and Lady A would, he wanted to confirm that they would both be bones that he could see one day. And I said, absolutely. As odd as this may seem for some of you guys, in farming and in stuff like that, in ranching, it's not odd to have an animal's skull or bones on display after they've been cleaned. And you know, it can take up to a year, but I know there are ways like diatomaceous earth and things like that to speed up the process. So if you guys have any tips or tricks, you know, comment down below. Not necessarily for like Adler to go get the bones. We're not, you know, they'll be there one day, one way or another, but you know, I know there's ways to do it cleaner before something would get to it, like a possum or something nasty. So, hey, why? With that said, we're going to, I have an ant on my hat. All right, with that said, I'm gonna get to work a little bit. Franklin. So he lost a bunch of his hair because we put fly spray on him and his mom licked it off, like literally a cow lick, and it's like, he kind of looks like he's balding, but he's not. And then he's got like these little fine baby hairs coming in. Let's see the baby hairs, buddy. Oh, look at him. He's okay. Hey, leave that alone. Get out of there, Dottie. Man, the chickens even came up here. Everybody's loving that short grass. The other alpacas, so we've got Mama, Rosie, and Tina. They don't appear to know, which also tells me that they knew she was gonna pass, and they've kind of already come to terms with it. When Fred, our bull, passed away back in November, it was kind of sudden. He was not okay, and then he was very okay because of the medicine, and then he was not okay again. And the animals we had on the farm kind of hovered around him. But the other alpacas, the girls, just kind of let Lady A do her thing. She laid around with them for a couple days, and then when she went off on her own, they just let her. So I think it was, I truly think it was natural. I think that there may have been a stroke there towards the end. But she was not in any pain, I assure you, and she was not alone. I sat with her. So it's very important to me. This is the rockiest pasture. This is the rockiest part of the farm. And when I say rocky, well, I can't even, I promise there's rocks over here. Hang on. So a couple points actually. I'm aware that when I refer to this or that over there as a hay field, I'm aware that it's a field where weeds grow and then we just bale it. And it's essentially roughage. I know it's not a hay pasture, quote unquote. I'm using hay as a general term. Because if I come out here and I'm on, you know, as a creator, I come out here, and myself included, I just learned all this like last year and I'm still learning. But my buddy Aaron at Lone Rock Ranch grows hay that comes with like a list of what's in it, what grew in it, the nitrogen, the protein, the phosphorus, the chromium picolinate, just crazy. It's a science, man, what he grows on his hay fields. I didn't know that driving down the road, seeing hay bales my entire life. Who would? How would you know that if you didn't raise and feed cattle or some kind of, you know, horse or whatever? So when I say this is a hay pasture, I'm referencing for the people like myself who just learned that that is where we grow hay. That is where we got our hay last year. But I'm aware these are weeds, okay? So with that said, This is the rockiest hayfield we have, like right here. Perfect example. Now, I didn't hit this yesterday. Thankfully, my blade, or I should say my brush cutter, hit it and pulled it out of the ground. And then I'll just get rid of that. But we have rocks like this all over this pasture. And they're just like sticking up randomly, you know? So you got to be really careful. Like what took me, you know, maybe an hour over there would take me 2 hours over here, trying to make sure I don't tear up my equipment like these right here. But interesting to note, now I believe Gary Walker was the first place I heard about this. It works. I'm a believer now. So if you got a rough spot in your pasture or rolling out your hay, which a lot of people give Gary flack about, they say he's wasting hay when he rolls his bales out, which is crazy because Gary's been doing this a minute. But this was like bare ground. I mean, it was bare, like nothing grew here. I don't know why. So I've had my Guardian hay feeder from AeroQuip sitting here almost all winter. This is where we fed all the hay, and I just moved it. This is probably like, oh, I bet it's like a 60 by 60 circle. It's pretty good size, but like I'd put a bale in it right here. They'd eat that down. Dottie, doggone it. They'd eat it down. I'd move it over there. So all the hay that was, you know, the residual hay that fell through that they couldn't eat just got smashed and trampled into the ground. And now, wouldn't you know it, it's growing stuff. This was bare. I mean, it was like red clayish dirt. You know, it looked like that kind of stuff right there. But here we are. I mean, I can feel it. It's probably a good 5-6 inches deep, but I guarantee this can be turned over and stuff will grow here. I guarantee it. I guarantee it, Ginger. I guarantee it. Don't be shy. It's okay. Hi, sweetie. What's she doing? People don't usually get close-ups of you. Your neck looks good. Looking healthy. All right. Listen, Lindas. Vámonos. Vámonos. No free rides. When you call a man out and say he's wasting hay, it's not really being wasted. I'm not gonna say it's not being wasted at all. That'll grow now. So no, it wasn't wasted at all. So props to Mr. Walker on that one. But all right, let me show you. I tackled part of this yesterday. I'm gonna keep going. We really want to cut all this down. Sorry for the tractor noise, but like, what is it that you're supposed to do? Like, I know cows, hang on. I know cattle like shorter grass. They don't want to wade through this belly high stuff, which it is. You know, the only reason we were doing this is because we thought we were gonna hay it. Now, I didn't think we were gonna hay this over here. I knew this would have to be brush hogged at some point, but what is that rule of thumb? Like, it's not supposed to be like, you know, putting green, but maybe like 6-8 inches. That's what the cows really like. So I also need to learn to time it too, because we have some rain coming this afternoon. So all of that over there, all of this that I do today is going to get a fresh rain on top of it and help bring it to that level that cows want. Now, I haven't touched the lower 10 acres at all yet. All that is a lot of native grass, but a lot of fescue, like 10 bags of fescue last October. So there's some good stuff down there. It's not thick enough to hay it yet because fescue doesn't spread like Bermuda. So let me do some of this right here. I'll check back with you and we'll drive down to that lower pasture. And guys, stick around. If you've ever, I should say, stuck around to a video to hear something at the end, this is the one. Don't go anywhere, trust me. We're also going live after this to talk with you guys about it, so don't go anywhere. Might be in for a longer, be a short video, but a longer live chat right after this video. mess of rocks in there. I'm gonna dig them out. Hang on. Hang on. These are the kind of rocks I'm really confused about. This right here, like out in the middle of this field. I mean, I don't know who used to like hay this, or I don't think this was ever hayed, but right here, what gives? And I'm not gonna touch them. I mean, I'm kind of curious, like, yeah. That's one of those piles that I told Case, not that I haven't warned Ray or the other boys too, but like, that's one of those piles. I told Case, I said, dude, you have to assume everything out here has a snake under it. You have to assume everything out here is too heavy and everything out here can hurt you. But this particular pile of rocks, I mean, look at it. This is probably maybe 2 or 3 acres, give or take. And then there's just this random circle of rocks. Like early man had a campfire right here, and they've been there for 5,000 years. Stack rocks, make fire. Chad farmer come along in 40 centuries, hit rock, break brush cutter, drop phone, hit phone with tractor, Dak funny. Yes, I'd be doing this even if y'all weren't watching. I need a shirt now that says Dak. Whoever, I don't know, Dak, I don't know. Made it up. Maybe Squatch did it. That's right, look. Maybe we have a Squatch on the property and he stacked the rocks. By the way, we have some new merch, and my merch is never like crazy creative or anything like that. I like plain and simple. I mean, look at this. This is the most minimalist Pew Pew brand on the market. It's literally called unbranded. So anyway, I like minimalist stuff. That's what my merch is. But we do have some merch with a Squatch on it, so that's pretty funny. Maybe we need one with early man on it now. Yeah, early man in a cowboy hat with a beard, some tribal markings. Maybe I'm Dak. Yeah, we need Dak on a shirt. This isn't all we have planned today. Stay tuned, trust me. Woo! Looks good, looks good. Still a couple high spots. Like I mentioned, there's a mess of rocks in there. There's a giant rock in there. That's why I just went around it. And Dak's little campfire's right there. So pretty slick. I like it. Now I know too that mowing this or keeping it short, especially heading into the hot part of the summer, which it already feels like it, but we got a nice breeze this morning. But I know mowing it, the sun will actually bake this and turn all this stuff into organic matter, just like this hay that we rolled out over the winter. Yeah, so I know it's also healthy for it. Pretty excited about it. So we'll do this as many times as it's needed. What I'd like to do is get this to a point where we can mow it without worrying about rocks, because as you can see, it's not a lot. I mean, you're talking in if you put it all in perspective, pretty sure I just did 3 or 4 acres, and there's only 2 patches where it's just too rocky to mow. So that's pretty stinking good. I'm not just estimating when I talk about this acreage. We've got 5 acres here, essentially 5 acres over there, 5 in the back and 5 over there. It's literally 2 square tins. So I just call this 5, that 5, that 5, and that 5. 20 acres. So, man, it looks so good. And this little Titan, I think they're called Ironcraft now, out of Tennessee. This little brush cutter's been pretty stinking awesome. But I need to, work on leveling it a little bit. It's, I don't know if the previous guy beat the tar out of it or what, but it doesn't ever really quit. It doesn't ever really sit square, and that may be why it was such a great deal. I don't know. But anyway. Regardless, it works. It gets the job done. I mean, you can't discount it, because look at what it's doing. It clearly knows it's doing something, so. Whew. I'm gonna let her sit right there. Now I gotta run a couple errands. You guys will probably not see me until later. Just gotta go into town and stuff. Man, this is gorgeous. Over there munching on that fresh grass. Right here, I'm really gonna have to spend some time. Probably won't get to it this summer just because of the dangers of snakes and stuff that could be in there. And I know some of you guys, you lightweight, mess with it. I had some old boy email me like, I don't know, 2 or 3 videos ago, and he was like, I'm 68 years old, I've been bit by a snake 4 times and I'm fine. Ain't a lick of it was spelled correctly. So no sir, you're not fine. I don't like snakes. I ain't going in there, it ain't happening. The reason this is all tore up is because this is where we put our water line, 800 feet. And yes, all those rocks came out of about a 2 foot by 2 foot trench. So that's why they're so bleh. But let's just get them smoothed over. Keep putting some of that organic matter on them, dirt, hay, whatever. And even if we wind up with a little bit of a berm right here, that's fine by me. But this looks good. I got as low as I could. I know that at one point, I think they said this was hayed all the way to that utility pole. So I basically just accomplished what it used to look like, which is pretty good. All I've got left is the lower pasture, which is all much safer. It's fresh dirt. There's like literally no rocks except for one corner that's about a 1/4 acre over the entire 10. So I can literally just go to town. I could mow it if my mower would keep up, but yeah, pretty excited. Pretty excited. I know what Ray's thinking. Now we need more alpacas. So we're about to get 2 more though. I truly believe that this one and Tina, wherever she's at, they are definitely pregnant. So I'll see you guys here in a little bit. I might tackle that lower pasture, I may not. We'll see, but either way, Ray will be back and we will talk a little bit about some cool stuff. So stay tuned. Huh. There's your problem. It's been a long day. Been brush hogging. Without, I'm not gonna spare you. I'm not gonna make you guys go through it. I'm not gonna do it. We're going live on Ray's channel in 5, 4, 3. Y'all be good. Don't work too hard. Don't make it weird. God bless. Deuces. 2, 1. Link down below.